Okay, so we had the three on the Peacock there a second ago. And obviously, we're talking about Calcon Ford on EV cars at the table on the board of the brain scan of cosmic radiation background for neural net being plugged into your skull and how this thing pumps out some of the metals this thing is made out of and time dilation systems, adjusting some psychology behind some of this and factoring at the table whether it'll be probability a factor or not, like you deal with other NP problems. This matrix, like I said, you just keep laying it over. Throw this one up. Pop over here by a level. Obviously, that's the board base I wanted to do, and I might do a couple of. If I wanted to go astrology, that's that route. Obviously, we start in with the biology here in terms of what the E negative is that transports the same heart rate physics model to not doing it or doing it. Inside of that system, so you gotta be careful with the 42-ness of this thing because she gets pretty nasty. No offense, 42. I mean, I love your bunny killer here. It's not meant to be, but if they just get hopping around next to the wood chipper and should so happen to fall into it, well. Interesting. So, and it will complicate like this. But let's say we could adjust x and y by trigonometry pi over 2 here, by the radiant to the bond bracket, in terms of what it equals or where this equation base would be inside here, to kind of how that reference timeline would ROM corrupt data systems inside here. Like, whew, she got some charm. See, those are just two wild horses. We could pop this open to a full matrix and just use it this way, and it helps, you certainly can, but you might need a line to hang on to, some rock face diagram to be able to look at and deal with which line around Everest you actually going to take once you get the money to go out there. So, somebody's got flu down there. No. Ooh, this could be interesting. Yahoo Finance is actually a good little barometer, LIGO, and
well, we're diving right
maybe
into it in terms of economic
Center.
data to start the year in 2022. We've got the December jobs report coming out on Friday. We've got minutes from the FOMC's last meeting coming out midweek as well. Matt Luzetti is joining us now. He's Deutsche Bank Securities Chief U.S. Economist. Matt, good morning and Happy New Year to you. It's always good to see you.
If you don't clip it right, you're going to be at an
Let's start with that
different
jobs
where it
report,
makes
if we could. Your expectations for the report, I believe the consensus is at 400,000. You guys, I believe, are at 375. So basically, it looks like we're going to see continued strength here. What kind of other elements of the report are you going to be watching most closely?
You have to make sure the kid at the table,
sure, thanks
whatever you're
so
trying,
much for having
whoever,
me.
whatever
Year.
you're trying to train.
As you noted, we expect 375,000 jobs to be added. I think a lot of the focus is going to be on the other elements of the report.
The timeline
what happens with
on
the
here,
unemployment
otherwise
rate,
it's not worth
what happens
it.
with labor
Zero,
force
it's below
participation,
an
and what are we
arbitrary
seeing with
number
wages. I think those are the most important things for thinking about the Federal Reserve over the course of this year. When will they raise rates? When will they begin to unwind the balance sheet? And on all those elements, the recent data has been really strong. The unemployment rate fell to 4.2% in November, only marginally above the Fed's view of negative over the long run level. We've seen the initial jobless claims data over the past several weeks has continued to move to very low levels. And so I think what you're going to see is, at least before Omicron hits, was continued strength in the labor markets.
Over time,
probably
build up
an
in the
unemployment
stove,
rate that looks very low and a labor market that looks very tight on a number of metrics.
And maybe the cleanup on that thing.
And then just thinking about the Fed and the rate hiking schedule and what we might see next year. I've been asking analysts over the last few weeks. Consensus seems to be 2 hikes, maybe 3. We did get one outlier from Mizzou said none. Looks the economy to roll over in Q1 or Q2. Just wondering what your base case is for the Fed.
Now, I'll give you back in those days.
We expect 3 rate hikes this year, beginning in June, September, and December. But after the December FOMC meeting, we noted that there's risk to that, and risk that it's more hawkish, perhaps as early as March. I think the minutes this week will shed a lot of light on the Fed outlook for this year. The two things that we'll be looking at are, one, how long after taper ends will they begin to raise rates? Remember, tapering ends in March, and we think that the March meeting is live for rate hikes. And then 2, when would the Fed begin to unwind their balance sheet or quantitative tightening as they've called it in the past. I think from that, we didn't get much guidance from Chair Powell.
We're expecting sales to be those things, is what I say. I mean, any times in the Fed making policies do things, so all right, well, that's fantastic. Where'd you get it from?
Oh, unwinding earlier than it did last time, perhaps as early as later this year.
On the range of trigonometry.
And Matt, I'm curious what your inflation expectations are for
may or may
the
not
coming
have been
months.
a good idea. True
and
fault.
it's difficult to sort of map it out, but what would it?
Well,
what effect
if
do you
you
think
broke
the Fed
it down
is going to have on
using
those
tightening some of
numbers?
those things, like I'm gonna have to go through this
Sure. So
timeline
inflation
right here
was,
against
I think,
field
the
theory.
big
If I had
surprise,
to
the big
put
story of 2021
field
from a macroeconomic
here,
perspective,
the
and I think it'll continue
actual
to be so
causal
this
limit
year.
we are
We
traveling
expect
here is like
inflation,
99%
at least over the next
speed of
several
light.
months, to remain high. We know
Good
we're going
thing
to
we
get
got a
strong
limit.
prints
Between
for
here
things
and
like used
here,
cars,
at
new
least we got
vehicles, a lot of
something.
these
We're gonna
good
have to
items,
cut that down
goods
a fair
items
bit
that
more
have
before
seen
we get
really
into
high
every
inflation
hyperbole
pressures over the past
radiant
year.
function that
And we
deals
expect
with
inflation to remain
straightening that
elevated
danger
throughout
needle
this
out
year.
and
We
flattening
expect
down
core
one
PCE, this is what the
curvature,
Fed is looking at and
negative
targeting to
one,
be
positive one,
2.7%
maybe
at the end of the year. So still 70 basis points above their target. And we see upside risks to that. So inflation will remain the key story this year. I think it's the key reason why the Fed will be raising rates
put down glass,
Joe.
Joe.
And why there's risk that the Fed is even more hawkish than our own